Hello, everyone. This is gonna be the start of a new series of icebergs. Let's get into it. So, I'm gonna be doing the creepy ad slash PSA iceberg as the first one. I'm only gonna be doing layer one, but I'm gonna be doing it layer by layer because this took me a whole day. This is only layer one. It took me a full day to research. So it was a lot of work. I started this at like 6 in the morning and it's 6 in the afternoon now. But yeah, so let's start it off with the chef gets boiled alive ad. It's a Canadian PSA about safety in the workplace, mainly a kitchen. Well, only a kitchen for this ad. It's in a set of 5 different ads. There's 5 of them. There's this one. There's this one. There's 4 more of like workplace safety. This one in particular is the scariest of all of them and the most disturbing. That's why it was on this. It starts off with a woman saying like she's a sous chef or a sous chef, and if she's lucky within a year she'll be a head chef. And then after that she says that she's engaged, but she won't be able to go to the marriage, or she won't be able to get married because a tragic accident is about to happen. And then she goes into detail saying it's not an accident, and then saying why the accident happens, and like she says there she should have cleaned a pile of grease, and that's something about a deep fryer, but then she falls before she can finish that, hitting the back of her head on a stove, and she was holding a pot of boiling water, and she spills that all over herself, and then it shows like the prosthetics of her face and hands burning, and the screams are like they were convincing. They were pretty convincing screams. Now, this next one is also pretty unnerving. It is the PS3 baby ad. This ad starts off. It starts by fading into a white room. Why did I say right room? A white room with just a baby and a PS3, a toy baby and a PS3, and that's it. And in the beginning, the toy baby has his eyes closed. Well, once it fades in completely, you hear a mechanical noise, and you see the baby open its eyes, and it looks at the PS3 like it's amused, it's laughing, and then it starts crying, which is kind of weird. And it's crying, and then it zooms into the eyes where it's changing colors. And it ends on what I think is the eyes like on fire, like flames. And when it pans back out, the PS3 is floating, and the baby is saying "mama" to it. Then in some other language, I don't know what language it is, it has a writing on it. I'm not sure what it is. This next one is one of the most unnerving ones on this layer. It's the "Dawn is your enemy." This isn't really an ad or a PSA. This is a bump that Adult Swim used to do, and apparently did like a year ago. At like 6 in the morning when Adult Swim was over and it was going to Cartoon Network from what I saw. And it's this picture yeah, it's this picture with some of the most unnerving audio I've ever heard. Like, the picture itself isn't really that scary, but the audio that goes with it, it's only a 10-second clip, but the audio that goes with it is terrifying in my opinion. It's absolutely terrifying. And there's apparently a creepypasta that there is. I'm not gonna go into that because this isn't something for creepypasta. But yeah, look at that creepypasta if you want. This next one is one that I really don't think should, with the rest that's happening, there's a couple of these that I don't think should be on this. Like this next one, Dumb Ways to Die. Everyone, if you don't know what this is, I'm sorry, you're living under a rock. It's one of the most famous, like, ads, which I didn't even know was an ad for a while. Until I researched this, I didn't know it was an ad. I thought it was just a song, but it's a catchy song about dumb ways to die, like the title says. And the advert part, like where it starts to like be the advert, is the last 3 deaths. It's made by a train company, which is so it's a train safety PSA. And the last 3 is, the first one is someone stands too close to the edge and falls back into the train tracks. The second one is someone driving around that barrier that stops cars from the train tracks, and the third one is someone walking onto the train tracks to grab a balloon. And they say those are the dumbest ways to die. I agree. If you're gonna jump into train tracks to grab a balloon or get impatient and drive across train tracks when the barrier's down, you are not the smartest cookie. But yeah, there is dumb ways to die. That's a pretty easy one. That's a good one. It's a fun thing, and I always annoy people. I can annoy my mom with it easily. She hates the song. Anyways. Anti-smoking ads. I'm pretty sure this is talking about the Real Cost campaign, where they made many different disturbing adverts, but I think the most disturbing out of all of them is the teeth one. It shows a young man walking into a corner store and buying a pack of cigarettes, has his ID, has the money, and the cashier says that's not enough. And the guy pulls out pliers from his pockets and then grabs one of his teeth with the pliers and pulls it out. It doesn't show any graphic detail on the teeth pulling, but teeth pulling is like so to me. And it's not my favorite. It's pretty creepy in my opinion. It's definitely convinced me I'm never gonna smoke because of that. I was never gonna smoke in the first place, but that just proved my point not to smoke ever. Anyways, the next one is Keffi Coffee. This one is a really, really popular one. This was popular a couple years ago when screamers were a thing. This was a popular screamer or jump scare screamer. This ad starts with a car going and driving in a grassy area, grassy hill, driving down a grassy hill, and then it's like that for most of the ad, and then it goes behind some trees, and that doesn't come out when you think it'll come out, and you start getting like where's this car? And then a guy in obvious prosthetic makeup, which is supposed to look like a green goblin or like a zombie or something, comes out screaming. And afterwards, there's some German, which roughly from what I've seen translates to you have never been more awake. And a heartbeat sound plays as it shows the coffee, saying like that you're scared. It's a pretty good jump scare, and if you're not exactly prepared for it, it will make you jump. It's funny. Anyways, the next one is another one that I don't think should be here, just like Dumb Ways to Die. It is the Domino's Avoid the Noid. This one starts with a creature called the Noid coming out of a trap door. I'm really going to be doing the 1987 ad because there's a couple ads afterwards. They're basically the same thing. But it starts with the Noid coming out of a trap door, and there's a Domino's pizza and then a box like on the table. And then the top of the box turns into like a force field. And the Noid tries to break the force field with like a baseball bat or punching it or headbutting it. And then there's a narrator that says like Domino's like has good stuff or is good. I don't know why I said that. Is good, like good protection, like good flavors and stuff, and to avoid with Domino's you will avoid the Noid. And the very end has the Noid running at the force field and melting, basically like liquefying itself and then pouring itself back into the trapdoor. It's not near as bad as what I made it sound like just then. It's funny. This next one is one that you will probably know about, saying that is very recent. It is the Trolley Gummy Worm stop motion ads. The first time I saw these, I was confused as to why Trolley would go this way, because like it's very weird. But the most popular one that I know of is the one with the log creature, where it starts with a log creature reaching his hand into a bag of gummy worms, And when he pulls the hand out, the fingers are all gummy worms, and the gummy worms are saying, "Sorry about your hand." And the next part is the log monster like looks into the bag, and it's like a full on acid trip. Like there's the gummy worms are dancing in a flowery field. Two of the gummy worms are like taking a bite out of other gummy worms, and it's a full on like the song is weird. It's a full on acid trip basically. I don't know what an acid trip feels like, but what I've heard is like an acid trip. Well, anyways, off that topic, after that, he pulls his face away, and there's like gummy worms around his eyes, and they fall down or crawl down his eyes, and one of them gets into his mouth, and you hear a cracking noise as his like neutral expression goes into a creepy smile. It's a very creepy smile, unnatural smile. Anyways, the next one is the little baby's ice cream. This is another pretty popular creepy advertisement. This is the one where it's the guy that is completely made of ice cream that is just taking a spoon and eating himself from the top of the head while just staring at the camera with his eyes as wide as possible. And the narrator keeps saying stuff like how you will have baby smooth skin if you eat baby's ice cream, and like the narrator is his voice inside his head. The scariest part about it, from my opinion, is that he just does not blink. It is staring at your soul the entire time, and is terrifying. Talking about some creepy stuff, the next one is the Kinder Humpty Dumpty ad. This was a UK ad for the Kinder Surprise back in the 80s, and it shows Humpty Dumpty with extremely human features like a human mouth, nose, eyes, and ears, and the shell looks like human skin. And he starts speaking gibberish that you can't understand with some eligible words like toy or chocolate and stuff. And he plays with a toy for a second. He eats the chocolate. Then he falls off the wall backwards, like giggling and laughing. It was very unnerving for me because seeing Humpty Dumpty that human-like is weird. The next one is the Pee Wee Herman Just Say No ad. From what I saw, this is just a PSA on how dangerous crack is. I don't see why this is on here, but it is kind of, he does act kind of strange. He says crack, rock, cocaine, like he's like spaces stuff. It's kind of strange, but I don't see why it's on here. It's just a PSA on how bad crack is. And the next one is, I'm going to be going straight into the entire Grubhub cinematic lore. Alright, next, Quiznos Spunk Monkeys. This is a really funny one that you've probably seen around. Rhett and Link made a video on the worst corporation thing, our worst advertisement campaigns. This was one of them. Quiznos, a sub-company Quiznos, they did an ad campaign where they had like two weird creatures called spunk monkeys. One playing the banjo, one or guitar, whatever, playing some instrument that uses strings. And one that was singing, and the one that was singing had bad English and had a weird accent. And if I remember correctly, I didn't go too far into this one because I remembered a lot of stuff. If I remember correctly, they came from like the moon or something. Yeah. It is probably the funniest thing on this iceberg, honestly. I had a good laugh when I saw that it was on here. Alright. Next is the Burger King Pokeball recall PSA. All this is just Burger King recalling Pokeball toys because they were a choking hazard. Alright, next is the Yoshi Island restaurant ad. This starts with a man with a full table at a restaurant. Like, the table is packed. And he's eating disgustingly. Like, close-ups of him eating. It's disgusting. And he keeps getting a bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the narrator is saying, like, they stuffed a lot of stuff into the Yoshi Island game. The new Yoshi Island game. It's a Nintendo Yoshi Island game ad. And they stuffed a lot of stuff. When the guy says he's done, the narrator says something along the lines of like, "What about just a little more?" Something along those lines. I don't know if that's exactly it, but says something along that. And then the guy just like licks some whipped cream off his finger, and then he explodes basically. Like his stomach like expands to the point where it gushes out onto everyone else in the restaurant like green goo and spaghetti. That's what, and it's disgusting, and it goes on people. It's disgusting. And the last one for this layer is the Airhead adverts. Most of these have people's heads expand and float like a balloon after they eat an airhead. The one I want to talk about is the ding dong one, where it's just weird. It starts with these two people, this guy and a girl, ringing this old man's doorbell. He sorry, I was on a call. I guess the person left. But he did he came out and after they ate a warhead, or not warhead. Why did I say warhead? An airhead, and he came out and was just like laughing like, you two. And then these two people kept floating up, and they rang the doorbell on a birdhouse, and the bird came out and didn't say anything. But they ring the doorbell of a bird, and the bird comes out just like, what? This is weird. Didn't say anything, but like looked kind of weird. And then they keep floating up to heaven. But before they can ring the doorbell on heaven, God can be heard like saying, "I see you," and then everyone just laughs and floats up higher and higher, and it's just really strange. I don't understand why Airhead does that. Airhead's ads are not great, in my opinion. They're scary. Anyways, that's gonna be it for layer 1 of this iceberg. I am going to be doing this probably bi-weekly, an episode of this every other week. This is really fun, in my opinion. I really like this. I want to start getting into more like true crime, iceberg stuff, because it's really interesting to me. Like, the disturbing side of life is interesting to me. So thank you guys for watching on this completely different video from what I usually make, but I think this is going to be a start of something great. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.